What's going on, everybody? So, yo, check it. I recently watched a video of somebody, and they was speaking about a relationship, right? And they was talking about how they're not ready to be in a relationship right now because they realize how their ego was involved, and not only their ego, but how egos in general could be involved in relationships to the point where the possessive thing comes up and it it acts selfish or something along those lines. I'm kind of paraphrasing right now. And it was kind of challenging to watch because of the circumstances around this person's situation. However, it was still cool to watch the whole thing, and because I drew from it and it helped me make this video, right? Draw this lesson up. And I understand that it's not simple to talk about things that's that intense. They were doing a great job at trying to explain it, and for the most part, I heard it and I get it. It's just that I'm listening with the ear of astrology. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not undermining them or like criticizing the way that they expressed it. It's just I look at it with a critical eye from astrology, and I'm using that story in order to explain this in a way to y'all, because I can bet that a lot of y'all can use this in regards to relationships, this information. So the thing that I found that I could extend on, right, is how they used ego as a reference point for possession. I kind of did this a similar thing too. That's why I can relate to it when I did the don't don't love the Taurus video, nurture the Taurus. Because as y'all know, I went back and recanted my statement and revised it after some more experience and maturity, right? So I kind of made the similar mistake when I explained love or something close to that anyway. The fuck. Um, so this person also had used possession as a reference point to the ego, right? Same thing that I did. So now I'm better to able to explain it. I want to go more in detail. This allows me to go more in detail of what I mean, because it's like you could think when the ego gets involved that it's the thing that puffs a person up to say, yo, I want you like this, I don't want you like that, you know what I'm saying? Those types of things, whatever the case may be. But that's not how the ego operates. It's actually Venus in astrology that operates that way. Reason being because we know Venus rules over two signs, Taurus and Libra, right? Let's begin with Taurus. Venus rules over Taurus, which key phrases I possess, right? So the sign, the energy, don't, Taurus, calm down. But I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all can relate anyway to what y'all be doing. Um, but the energy of Taurus is prone to believing that humans are their possessions as well, like their significant others, their lovers, their boyfriends, their girlfriends, etc., etc. And don't get it twisted, right? When you enter a contractual agreement, that's sort of what it is. It's like that is what it is. Like you own each other. It's documented. But I'll save that for later when I get to that part, right? Initially, beginning with Venus hovering over Taurus or ruling over Taurus, it's like I said, they could be prone. The energy could be prone to believing that the person is yours, right? It's not until that significant other reaches a point to where they got to set a boundary, or they express their likes and dislikes, right? So it might be their dislike to where they set a boundary, or they might set their preference to you. So it's just like maybe they want to do something kinky with you, and or you want to do something kinky with them, and they're like, nah, they're gonna say pineapples. You know what I'm saying? I ain't with that shit. Like that's not what we do over here. And then it comes to a point where what happens? Someone's going to have to compromise. That's also a Venus construct, cooperate, compromise. Someone's going to have to compromise in order to keep that relationship going, right? Some people can call it stroking the ego. Now, it's not that you have to stroke the ego. You can always refrain, right? And say, well, if you don't want to do it that way, then we ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you sit it out and wait it out, which is also a Venus construct too, because just in astrology in general, because transits can affect relationships differently at different times. So you might not be ready to do something at this time, but later on down the line, you might be with it, like such as marriage. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, I'll be dating right now. I'm cool right now and all that. I don't want to hop the broom right now. Now, the other person could get an attitude and be like, oh, you don't like me like that? That's what you're trying to say? Well, I ain't got no time to be waiting with you deuces. You know what I mean? Then that means they're not willing to use the Venus construct of patience and compromise and cooperation, because it could be later on down the line you might have lost the best person that ever happened to your life because you chose to use haste, right? So that's when the ego represents itself, though. The ego is something that represents oneself, one's likes and dislikes. It's a representative of itself, therefore can't possess or want to possess another. It's all about the self. It's all about individuality. I mean, and I can end the video right here, but it just makes more sense to do more clarification on what I'm saying. So, and give examples and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, let's say a boundary is set. And this is why I'm titling this video in such a way that it lets you know Venus has to factor in the ego when making a agreement to be with another person. So what that means is, it's like, let's say a person expresses to you that you got feelings for, that you like, whatever the case may be. You might even love them, right? But you haven't seen all of their likes and dislikes, which is all sun-based, solar-based, ego-based. So they start telling you, they express it to you. Yo, I like this, I like that, I like this, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like that, right? It's up to you to determine whether you're going to tolerate that person's ego or you're going to stroke it, you know? And sometimes tolerate doesn't mean to stroke the ego. It just means, okay, well, I'm going to sit this one out until we figure things out, until you get it together, or we just agree to disagree on this one. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to these two individuals to work it out. It's up to you two to work it out. You know what I'm saying? So I would recommend to any two people that are going into something, because a lot of people are just gambling out here. You know, they're gambling, and some are gambling with love, some are just gambling because it's fun, right? But none of these, or should I say, none of those types of scenarios are established. And that's why I would recommend two individuals who like each other. Put it this way, let me rephrase that. Two individuals who are attracted to each other to get into business agreements first. Now, I know I sound dry as fuck, right? I sound like, fucking, you're dry, you're boring, you're whatever the case may be. And this is, trust me, I've done a few laps. So I've learned that when you jump in with all of that fun factor, or you jump in with only what you're attracted to, and not only what you're attracted to, but how your ego gets stroked, especially in the beginning of relationships, you can see how that can end bad. And lots of times how that ends bad, because one is going to not compromise, but silence their ego to the point where the 80-20% rule comes into effect, and now someone is bitter after the relationship because they silence their ego. You can't, and this is what I'm saying, the Venus love must factor in the ego when making a relationship established. Because if you ignore or discard what your person likes and dislikes, you don't love them. You're manipulating them in a way that you want to box them in a way that you're going to suppress their emotions, and somewhere down the line, that's going to turn into an eruption. It's going to turn into an explosion. It's going to turn, or it could just turn into mental illness from the person's mental capacity eroding after such abuses taking place. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I would recommend people get into business agreements, because you would understand what it is that you're getting into, and you'll understand how money plays a part and all that and everything. See, money isn't everything. So I want to put that out there as well. But at the same time, it's like, when you do get together, right? Like, let's say you marry the person that you like or you love, right? Finances are going to be involved. And those things shouldn't be tiptoed on or like walking on eggshells when it comes time to talk about those things, because they're real things. You will be sharing things. Venus is a sharing planet, right? So I even got the definition for action and interaction. I jotted this down because I wanted to make the contrast between Mars and in Venus, right? So for Mars, action is the fact or process of doing something, typically to achieve an aim. And interaction, which is a Venus construct, is reciprocal action or influence, right? Reciprocal, give, take, 50-50, right? Or influence, even if Venus is using attraction levels, right? So it's like, when you meet a person, this is also important to understand. When you meet a person and you start digging them, right? The things that you're attracted to about them, you gotta honor that later on in the relationship. See, some people they don't remember that, right? So let's say you're talking to a girl, right? And you see she stay fly, hair stay did, all that, armpit shade, if you like it like that, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to y'all who got the hairy pits and all that, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And you notice all of these things about her. Not only that, she got like a social life to it. She goes out and about, she mingles, she rubs shoulders. She even got like an entrepreneurial flair with her or something. You know what I'm saying? She could network in business circles and stuff like that. But you like that about her. You low key even like that about her because you see how other people look at her. Not just men and women included. You see how other people look at her. You see her dance around conference rooms and stuff like that, clubs, wherever y'all go, and you like that about her. Now, part of that rubs off on people to where they're like, man, in courtship, this is that chick. Like, this is the girl to be with. So when you finally get her the way that you want her, like established, right? You can't box her in and be like, you want to turn her into this now, you want to turn her into that, you want to turn her into a housewife, you want to turn her into a homemaker, you want her to work from home now, and you don't want her around crowds of people and stuff like that, because that's not what attracted you to her. You understand what I'm saying? And when, let's say her, now to empathize with her, if she silences her ego, right, because that's what she will be doing when compromising to be in this relationship, is not doing the things that she likes consistently anymore because of her new lover, her new boyfriend, right? Then she is going to put herself in a situation to where, that ego is just drained, it's just silenced. And should the worst happen, like a breakup, right? She ain't gonna have her Rolodex no more. She ain't gonna have those friends she used to have. They're gonna be like, oh, bitch, now you coming back outside. Boy. We try to tell you about him and this, that, and the third. Give it more time. You heard the stories. You've seen them time and time again, right? So it's important to remember each other's attraction levels, because that's a construct of Venus. Whenever it gets manipulated to the point of coercion, that's a Mars construct, because that's an individual taking action against another individual to achieve an aim. It's not reciprocal. It's not, yo, ma, I see you, go out, have fun. I'm going to be over here. We meet up after 6, meet up and do us. You know what I'm saying? Give half of the day to me, give half of the day to them type shit. You know what I'm saying? And again, transits will affect things differently, but you don't let your partner slip because you caught on an A game. You know what I'm saying? But if you coerce and take action to achieve an aim that's on a singular level, that doesn't include their egos, their likes and their dislikes, then that's not love. That's some Mars shit, which is obsession, and that's the 8th house, right? Because Mars rules over the 8th house. That's why it's kind of challenging to have find someone who's actually sexually compatible with you as well, because a lot of the times, I guess I'm speaking for myself. A lot of the times you could find, or you get yourself into relationships that you're either doing most of the work, sexually I'm talking about now, or the other person is doing most of the work. And sometimes it's okay, right? Sometimes a chick could just lay on her back and live la vida loca, you know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Sometimes a dude could just lay on his back and let a girl go to town because she likes that. She's kinky like that. She's freaky like that, you know what I'm saying? But it's rare that you run into somebody to where y'all are reciprocal and compatible in sex. And that's more of interaction, right? That's more of, I want to explore you. You want to explore me. You want to know what it is that I like, what it is. We want to know what each other like. So we might not know because we might be thinking singular. We might be thinking all about self, because when passion and desire is involved, that's a Mars construct. Venus is attraction levels, meaning what attracted you to me, what attracted me to you, right? Sometimes it could be basic conversation, language. Sometimes it could be looks. Sometimes it could be the way a person dresses, right? This is the Taurus construct. Taurus energy adorns itself with the things that they like, right? That's their ego. They're building up their confidence and their ego. And it just so happened to attract you. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to thwart that about your person. You want to keep your person elevated to that level to where they keep doing those things. Now, if they not doing their hair all the time no more, now they letting their pits grow and stuff like that, and that's not what you was attracted to, you can see how the relationship starts to drag and it gets boring, and then the next thing you know, you're starting arguments because the Mars, if you're trying to achieve an aim, right? Sometimes people use Mars in relationships to achieve the aim of starting arguments for the sake of trying to make that person change or adapt back to what it was, or something that gets them excited. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes even people coerce sex or force sex on their partner because they feel it's a way to get them back in good graces. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes, again, the other person can silence their ego or diminish their ego to compromise and let that happen, but in the back of their mind, they're having sex and they don't even really want to have sex. You understand what I'm saying? And that's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. You both should want to do it. You both should agree on that. Like, that should be something that's agreed on. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to marriage, which is a contractual agreement, which I'm going to talk about too, right? Because we got to remember also that Libra's operation of Venus is involved here too, because Venus moves over Libra. So this is where you're saying, right? When you get to that level, you're getting past the whole I possess this person without marriage, because you understand that person had put up a boundary, like, yo, chick, we ain't rocking like that. Like, you know, we ain't that deep in for you to be talking to me like that or demanding these types of things from me. When you want to be more serious, that's something we could talk about. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, then we're going to get that certificate. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make this business. And that's why, that's why they also say no sex until after marriage, because the 7th house is marriage or the contractual union. The 8th house is sex. So a lot of people are getting me doing that shit backwards. You know what I'm saying? And then wonder why shit unravels or spoils later on, because they didn't get to explore each other enough to be aligned on a cohesive level. You know what I'm saying? So when you get to that area of a contractual union, you got to keep in mind the ego factor. You got to factor in the ego. You got to know what your person likes and dislikes, because at that point you will be tolerating that person's ego for the rest of that contract. You know what I mean? So, and we got to be knowledgeable to know that different solar returns are going to produce different years for each individual, and they're going to be more than likely interested and prefer to do certain things that are different from when you met them. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be knowledgeable of that, or you should be knowledgeable of that to understand, and that's vice versa. You know what I'm saying? That's vice versa. So with that being said, the contractual union and all that things could be great. The sex comes afterwards. But you don't, even when it comes to the ego, again, when you're in a marriage, in a relationship, it doesn't mean to stroke the person's ego. You might want to make them grow, or just understand that their ego is still their ego. Meaning, if your partner wants something from you after marriage or after a solidified contractual union and you're not willing to give, it shouldn't mean that it's over. Whoever's the person that says like, oh, or I can't have it my way, then I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Then that's not love. That's not love. That's total ego, but it's not in the form of possession. It's actually the opposite. It's actually like, yo, I'm out of here then. Like, I don't want to possess you because you're not doing what I want to do, or you're not letting me do what I want to do. Therefore, I'm gone. That's ego. But to refrain from doing what your partner wants is an opportunity to let them know that they still have their ego. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I get it. You like this and you don't like that. So I'm going to just leave you alone right now. You know what I'm saying? And let you do what you need to do so you feel good about yourself. No relationship is going to prosper when people don't feel good about themselves. It's just not, It's just not. What you'll find yourself, and when things get too egotistical, what you'll find is you're going to be two roommates living together, pursuing your own careers, pursuing your own likes and your own preferences and your own interests. And you just basically sharing bills, and you might you pay that bill, I'll pay that bill. You pay that bill, I'll pay that bill. which is okay. That's cool or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, it's not really. Is it really a union, or is it two people that are, again, roommates that are just, doing their thing? You know what I'm saying? Doing what they want to do. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, man, it really don't make no sense. So that's why I'm saying, like, when you get in a relationship, you might want to try out a business ordeal first. Because it's like this, right? Let me explain to y'all. Let me give you an example now. So like me talking to y'all and y'all watching me right now, right, I would say this is more of a Neptune construct, to be real with you. This is unconditional love because it's fair exchange, no robbery. Like no one's being charged for this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm speaking to y'all because I get a kick out of servicing people. Y'all click on this video because y'all get a kick out of being knowledgeable on things that you may or may not know yet, right? And I just happen to be a cool distributor of that information. Cool, bet. So again, fair exchange, no robbery. We're in a relationship. Now, as soon as one of y'all get on here and you start talking about, well, I want you to wear a black shirt that's more fitting, and I want you to wear sunglasses, or I'm not watching no more, right? That's when the ego arises, right? That's when the ego arises and you express your likes and your dislikes. You know what I mean? Now, I could just be like, word, I could just be like, well, turn up my ego and be like, well, I like doing what the fuck I like to do. I like wearing what I like to wear when I wear it, and I'm gonna wear whatever the fuck I want to wear, and you're just gonna have to deal with that. Or I could flip the switch and be like, let me think. I do like the color black. I got a pair of shades. I don't mind wearing a pair of shades. Okay, but guess what? You got to pay me now, and that might be an individual video because I got other subscribers who watch me too. Maybe they want to look at my eyes. You prefer to look at me with shades on and a black shirt. So if you want to take it to that extent, pay me, right? And I'm not saying to be prostitutes in your relationships by making this analogy. I'm saying this is a point of toleration that's going to be expressed, or at least going to rear its head when you're in a relationship with someone. You understand what I'm saying? And maybe even in dating, not even maybe, it occurs in dating. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, take me out over here, take me out over there, and then y'all end up fucking at the end of the night and shit like that. Like, that's dating, you know what I mean? But you're going to pay. You're going to pay like you weigh because somebody is taking you to some restaurant that they probably don't even fucking want to go to. You know what I'm saying? So shit like that happens. Now, me on the other hand, to further clarify, right, I'm in a relationship with YouTube as well. And this is where I've compromised in order to, cooperate with YouTube to their terms and conditions, right? I'm in a marriage with YouTube. I'm in a unconditional love contract with y'all because I just do what I do and y'all tune in. That's different. But I'm actually in bed with YouTube, and I gotta curb my behavior. That's why there's no thumbnails with titties on them, because YouTube doesn't like that. They have their ego involved to where they have likes and dislikes of what they want on the content of their platform. Therefore, I have to adhere to that or we won't be in bed. So what do I tell YouTube? That's not usually how I like to do things. You know what I'm saying? However, can I refrain from putting titties on the thumbnails? Can I not curse for the first 5 minutes? Can I not slander people and, talk about killing animals and stuff like that? I think I could do that, but you're going to have to pay me. You're going to have to pay me now. So now people are running ads on these videos. You understand what I'm saying? So take that into consideration when you're getting into these relationships. Like, so even with the money factor, right? It's like when you get into a union that's established with your other person, right? The same way that YouTube pays me, the same way y'all should be thinking about finances. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to have to put up with it. You're going to have to tolerate each other's egos. So the sharing factor of what you do for one another is going to result in a financial matter in some type of way. So that should be discussed. That's nothing that should be ignored. That's not something that should be looked upon as one not being masculine enough or one being too masculine. Because me and my peoples, we just was talking about this video not too long ago on Facebook, right? That was posted about some dude, they talking alpha male shit, right? They like, yo, I'm tired of you dudes out here talking about let's go 50. You want to go 50-50 with your chick and shit like that, right? So what he said he spoke to his African friend And his African friend laughed at him like, you know, that's just not something that we do, like providers and alpha men and shit like that. So I commented on this shit, right? I'm like, yo, somewhere in America, there's a wife staying in a house that her husband pays for. I said, no, somewhere in America, there's a wife getting her cheeks clapped inside of a house that a man pays all the bills for. Therefore, if it comes around to like my way or something like that, I said, she's gonna be getting her cheeks clapped on the side of her bed that she pays for. This is 2022, not the 50s. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real. I look at it like this, yo. If you move in with me, we roommates. If I move in with you, we roommates. Straight up. So what we doing? Because they like, oh, what you, and that's something that they mentioned too, right? And I agree with them. They say, yo, because y'all roommates at that point. And I agree. I say, yeah, if y'all moving with each other, y'all roommates, right? But what do I look like providing, paying all the bills and taking care of this chick? So what, you my child? Because what's the difference? If I do everything for you and you live with me, you're my child. You know what I'm saying? So I tell that chick quick, oh, you wanna spend time with me? You wanna come over here a lot? Yeah, chip in. Chick, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, and the reason why I express like this ain't the 50s, it's very important that you peep my comment, like, so you don't think that I'm just totally arrogant, right? In the 50s, I don't know if y'all heard about the 50s. I wasn't here. But when you hear about the 50s, it was like the golden age of America because people could afford whole houses in one shot. Like, the houses were like 15, 16 grand. You understand what I'm saying? And that's like the big houses. So you could still afford something that was a little bit less than that. So just imagine, one person could hold that down. One person with one job could hold that down. So back then it made sense. Yeah, chick, I love you. You love me. We enjoy each other's company, each other's time, each other's attraction levels, right? Because that's how it sets off with Venus. So it's like, yeah, I work. I got a 9 to 5. Just chill, do you. I could pay the house off, or the house is already paid off. Plus, I got mad money left over when I come home because fucking McDonald's burgers is like 18 cents at this time. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about shit like that. This is 2022. That's why I said this is 2022. Look around you. You know what I'm saying? You're blessed to have your own joint at this time. So if you think we're gonna merge, and if you think I'm gonna just put everything into it with the price tag that's on everything right now, you're wilding, man. You're wilding. I don't care if you're a superstar. I don't care what you look like. I don't care. I don't even care if I hit the lotto tomorrow. That's not even gonna change about me. And I know that's like, yeah, right, nigga. If you hit the lotto, you're going. No, I'm telling you, yo. It's how my mind's built. You know what I'm saying? And I developed this over the years. And now I'm making this about me, so I'm dragging it. So I'm about to end this, right? But I just want to make that a factor. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make that a factor. When you're utilizing the Venus interaction and you have the intent to solidify a union with a contractual agreement in some type of way, NDAs, whatever the fuck y'all feel like y'all gotta do, factor in their ego, find out the person's likes and dislikes and whether you can tolerate them or not, or whether they can tolerate you not stroking their ego, because there's times that can happen to where you're just like, well, I'm not doing that shit for you. I don't care how much I love you, I'm not doing that for you, or I'm not letting you do that to me or even for me. Sometimes people be like, yo, nah, you don't gotta do that for me. It's just like, yo, but I want to. Stop. Y'all be doing too much sometimes. That's why y'all be losing chicks too. Y'all want to do the world. Y'all want to get them the world. You want to do everything for them, and they just like, and then they go fuck the janitor. Like, no disrespect to the janitor. Like, matter of fact, salute for your come up. You know what I'm saying? Now the janitor's clapping her cheeks in a house that you pay for. I'm just saying, all right, I'm out.